Hey everybody, Naomi here. I decided I'm going to make a vlog about my time in China because I get a lot of questions, obviously. Being away from home for a whole year on my gap year in China is quite a big thing, I guess. So a lot of people ask questions. They want to know what it's like, want to know how the culture is, what my experience has been so far, how I'm picking up the language and all that kind of stuff. So I decided I want to make a vlog, and I'll update it every few weeks maybe, just to give a bit of insight into my life in China. Being foreign in China is like a huge thing, because Chinese people really aren't that used to seeing people from other countries in China. If you go to the big places like Beijing, Shanghai, where there's so much international business going on, then they always see people from other countries, and it's not really a big deal. But where I live in Western China, in the west part of China, it's a lot more rural, so there's no room for like international business here. It's more like towards the sort of agricultural side of China. So people still they still find it really strange that there are foreigners in China. With that comes a lot of attention, and by a lot of attention I mean tons of attention. So for example, you can be walking down the street in China and you'll have like a crowd of people just staring at you, like literally for like so long. It's just really strange. Like when I first got here I just thought it was really creepy. So I mean, like sometimes people will stare at you back where you live, like in England, but it's like a next level kind of thing in China. So because like the sheer amount of people that live in China, like you just get it everywhere you go, people will just stare at you all the time. And it won't just be the one person. So like maybe somebody's walking by you, like a group of people or a family, one person starts staring at you, and then they tap their friends and they're like, oh look, there's a foreigner, there's a foreigner. And then all of a sudden like everybody on the street is staring at you as you walk by. And it's so strange. So I just thought it was really weird when I first got here. It was just one of those things that you kind of get used to it after a while. But then again, where I live in my city, in my community, people have sort of gotten used to seeing me around. So it's not as bad as time goes on. But it's just one of those things that is really strange. One way to describe it, the attention in China, is like being a celebrity. So you'll be walking down the street, people are staring at you like, wow, oh my gosh, look, there's a foreigner. It's as if like, oh my gosh, look, there's Miley Cyrus, there's Tom Cruise. It's really strange. And with that comes a lot of photos. So people will try and take photos of you all the time. I mean all the time, in the most conspicuous ways ever. So you can be on the bus sitting there and there's a lady with a camera in your face like this, like trying to be like inconspicuous, like, but still taking pictures of you, and it's so obvious. There's one time actually, I was in a taxi with my friend Jess, and I was in the front seat and the taxi driver was sitting next to me, and like, you know, you get the general conversation like, oh yeah, where are you from, what are you doing, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden he's like, can I take a picture of you? I'm like, yeah sure, when we get to where we're going. He's like, no, let's take a picture now, while we're driving the car. So we're driving down the road at like what, 40 miles an hour maybe, and he's like, yeah, let's take a picture together. And he's getting out his phone and trying to put the flash on, like not looking at the road, like sorting out his phone and stuff. And he's like, yeah, everyone get in, like one hand on the wheel, one hand on his phone. And like, yeah, smile, smile, smile. And me and Jess are sitting there like, oh my gosh, please just drive us to where we need to go, we don't want to die. And it was just the weirdest thing ever. We didn't die, of course. I mean, it was never gonna happen really. I mean, it's possible. I mean, some people really are bad at driving here in China. But we didn't die, we're fine, I'm alive. It's just one of those things that will only ever happen in China. And there are a lot of things that will only ever happen in China that I've come to realise that over my time living here. Another thing about photos is that random people will come up to you in the street. So you'll be walking along and somebody will just come and tap you on the shoulder and ask to have your picture taken. And a lot of the time they hand you babies. I mean, it sounds strange, but it happens. So like, I'm walking along with my friends and this guy's like, oh, can I take a picture of you? I'm like, yeah, sure. And like suddenly he just passes me his baby and he's like, yeah, smile, smile. And I'm just like, and it's the most awkward thing in the world, but for some reason they seem to think it's normal to take pictures of foreigners who are walking down the street. But whatever floats your boat. So I've noticed that there is a lot of racial prejudice in China. And I don't mean like racism, just racial prejudice. So for example, what I mean by that is they're very stuck in this kind of mindset where if you're white, you're from England or America. If you're Chinese looking, then you're from China. If you're black, then you're from Africa. So people always ask me where I'm from, obviously. A lot of the time it's America, because most foreigners who are living in China are American. But this one time, this guy came up to me in a shop and he's like, oh yeah, where are you from? Where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from England. He's like, no, you're not from England. I'm like, no, I am from England. He's like, no, no, you're not from England. I'm like, no, I'm from England. He's like, no, you're from India. And I'm just like, no, I'm from England. And he's like, no, you're from India. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm from India. I mean, I must have been mistaken when I was born in England. I mean, that definitely was India. I mean, it's like, it's really weird, but that's what I mean by racial prejudice. So if you have dark skin, they don't think you're from England. If you tell them you're from England, they will just laugh at you. And it took me a while to like learn the vocabulary to explain to them why I'm black, but not from Africa or India. I don't even think I look Indian. I mean, maybe if I had straight hair, but I mean, I guess the braids, maybe. I don't know, they don't really have braids in India, do they? Like this? I don't know. So, that's what I mean by racial prejudice. I mean, it's not racism, but it's just not being well informed about how multicultural England is, or England is becoming. And I don't think they seem to realise there are quite a lot of Chinese people in England, as well as white people, black people, Indian people, yellow, brown, pink, all these other kinds of people. They don't seem to realise. In China, some people are a bit more forward than in other places of the world. So, like, especially if you're a foreigner, they'll just come and touch you and like stroke your skin and stuff, and your face and your hair. And I guess that's just cultural. That's cultural differences. That's normal here. So living in China as a foreigner, I guess it's kind of natural that if you see somebody who's different, that you're going to want to ask a lot of questions or make a lot of comments about how their appearance is different to the people who live with you. So, I mean, foreigners in general, I know a lot of foreigners get so many compliments. I don't know whether it's the media, like in China, bigging up foreigners and Westerners, saying that they're so beautiful and stuff. But for some reason, Chinese people seem to really love Westerners, like people who look Western. So the most common compliments are probably, wow, your eyes are so big. Or a weird compliment I got once was, you have a beautiful nose. And I was just like, thanks. Like, how do you take that? Like, so that's just like the basics on my life in China so far. There are so many things that I feel I need to explain to people back home, but I'll make some more videos. I'm going to particularly make a video about how my Chinese skills are coming along, because a lot of people keep asking me, can you speak Chinese, what can you say, how do you say this, blah blah. So I'll just make a video all about speaking Chinese, learning to write and stuff, and I'll upload that maybe next week or the week after at some point. And I'll probably get my Chinese friend Jack to come on the video and hopefully not tear me apart and insult me like he normally does. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, and maybe I'll upload one next week. But yeah, I hope this has given you some sort of insight into my life in China. Ask me a question and I will probably incorporate it into my next video and let you know what life in China is really like. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon.